Hey folks, Arizona guy here. It is Thursday, July 21st, 2022, the Biden-Harris America. And I figured I'd sit out here today. It's a nice day in Phoenix, Arizona. I mean, it's only 108 today. And as you can see, it's about 1:30 in the afternoon. So I was reading this morning about the collapse of the Chinese economy. So some places in China, they are so fearful because of their conflict with Taiwan that the mass of people want to take their money out. So the Chinese Communist Party is very fearful that the run on the bank will bankrupt their country. So they're distinguishing people's private investments as state investment funds. So they're not allowing people to remove money from their banks. And believe me, folks, the same thing could happen here. Our government could do exactly that same thing and say, oh, no, these are country investments. We're going to remove all the private funding. And people could lose their life savings, their retirement accounts, absolutely everything. So, folks, please watch and pay attention right now on what's going on around the world. It is very important. And also, we talked about Joe Biden yesterday. Well, it turns out that now 4 times vaxxed President Joseph R. Biden Jr. has been diagnosed with COVID-19. After all this time in quadruple vaxxed Democrat Joseph R. Biden diagnosed with COVID-19. So, folks, how many times must you be vaccinated in order to not get COVID-19? Is it a dozen times? I mean, come on, folks. This COVID thing has been going on for nearly 3 years now. And now they're trying to make the monkeypox a media blowout because the next pandemic, folks, is coming. And there's several, 100 cases of monkeypox in the state of New York. So New York is going to be going through another so-called lockdown. And that is going to hurt the economy of New York so drastically. And also, so California always follows the state of New York. So California will be doing the same things. I was reading yesterday that San Diego has reinstated their masking mandates. So, folks, I'm telling you, these blue states, the economy is going to crumble. If you live in a blue state, you best take your money out of the banks and get cash and get a safe at home. Because these blue states, under the extreme Democrat rules and regulations, are going to collapse. And also, speaking of collapsing, Ford, the car company, is going to lay off 8,000 employees because they're transferring over to production of EV, electric vehicles. And I'm going to tell you, folks, people are really going to suffer with 8,000 plant layoffs by Ford. And folks, I'll make a prediction, okay? I'm not really in the prediction market, but Ford's going to collapse. Ford's been around for many, many decades. Ford has been a great car company, but because of the introduction of the Biden-Harris Democrat plan, I mean, Pete Buttigieg, the transportation secretary, sees no problem with transferring over from gas-powered vehicles to EVs, electric vehicles, even though they cost $65,000, $75,000. He just expects everybody to transfer over. But folks, this is going to cause car companies, I mean, even Tesla is having financial problems right now. And Tesla makes a good EV. They're just really pricey, but they're high tech and they're good. But when they break down, they are very, very costly, folks. Usually the batteries to replace in an electric vehicle cost more than the car is actually worth. If you don't believe me, you can Google it or Bing it and find out that EV vehicles are highly expensive to repair. I had a lady that lived across the street from me that had an older Prius, and the older Prius battery replacements were $7,500. And the car, by Kelley Blue Book standards, was only worth about $4,500. So folks, there you have it. But anyway, these car companies are going to collapse because the green agenda is going to put these car companies completely out of business. So you might want to think about that. I mean, Biden wants even the farmers and the ranchers to switch over to electric tractors. Now, how much does an electric tractor cost versus a conventional gas or diesel tractor? I'm sure the cost is astronomical. But anyway, folks, the one thing I want to say today is how many believers do we have out there? I'd like to take a poll. How many religious folks are watching my videos? Because how many of you believe that we're living in the end times or the last days right now? Because the Bible says there'll be many trials and tribulations in the end times. And there'll be fires and famines, disease, everything that's going on right now, folks. So are we right now living in the end times? How many of you believe that we are? I certainly do. I think everything that is in the Bible is actually coming true. That is my opinion. If you look at the worldwide situation, Joe Biden left behind $85 billion worth of American arms and vehicles in the botched leaving of Afghanistan. And now the Taliban has all this equipment, and they will slowly start working to take over different parts of the Middle East. Joe Biden wants to give Iran $1 trillion. What do you think a terrorist organization is going to do with $1 trillion? Well, they're going to build nuclear weapons. That's what they're going to do. And these weapons will be focused upon their greatest enemy, the United States of America. So, folks, I'm going to tell you what. I don't want you to live in fear. I want you to go about your everyday life as you do. But you need to buy a gun and ammunition to be able to protect yourself. Because the Democrats right now, and I'm sure there's some rhino Republicans that will go along with the whole thing, but they're trying to pass a ban on AR-15s. Well, folks, they may. So if you don't have an AR-15 right now and you want one, you best go get one. But that is not really the agenda. The agenda is not to stop the gun sales. The final agenda is this: to make the ammunition for AR-15s very, very expensive or very, very hard to come by. Or they will place a huge tax on the ammunition so the everyday people will not be able to afford it. That is the final goal of the Democrat Party. So I'm telling you, as an American, that if you want a gun, a shotgun, a handgun, whatever you may want, you best go buy it now. Don't wait. Put something that you really don't need off right now and go buy yourself a gun of your choice and get ammo, because pretty soon you will not be able to afford ammunition because of government regulations and government taxes. Folks, this is actually the Democrats' goal when it comes to guns. Not to take them off the streets, to make them unaffordable for the average American to get their hands on. Their goal is that only criminals have guns. And listening to some of the news programs, they're criticizing Elijah for carrying his constitutional carry handgun into the mall and taking out a shooter that had already killed 3 people. They're criticizing an American carrying a firearm, saving numerous lives. Folks, it's sickening. So anyway, I just want to say thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, leave me a comment, and have a wonderful day. Arizona Guy, out.